Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back to Adobe Live. I'm joined this fine Monday morning. It's actually very blue skies. There we go. We're starting with the weather as a typical British fashion. I'm joined this fine, lovely Monday with the one and only Tim Möbest. Welcome, Tim. How you doing?
Got the umlaut in there. So proud of you.
Always.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Yes, I am once again very happy to be back for another crash course here on Adobe Live. And today it's going to be all about motion graphics templates, one of my newfound favorites in the Adobe suite of apps.
Mogurts. Let's hope we don't get any frozen mogurts.
Formats, yes. Anyway, Joe.
So welcome, everyone.
Where can people watch this stream, I wonder?
Well, if you have an internet connection, you are likely already watching. If you're watching on YouTube, that's fine. You can carry on there. But if you'd like to join in with the chat, come and find us on behance.net. And I can see we've got some people in with the chat. Jan, Sean, Kirsty, Steve, Linda, any other names? Oliver, Tim, Michelle, few other names potentially coming in. Let us know how you're doing and who you are. And let's maybe start this week as we've come back from Adobe Live. It's been 1 week since the little break. Let's maybe reintroduce ourselves and whoever. So for those of you who don't know Tim is the behind-the-scenes mechanical engineer of all sorts for all of these Adobe live streams. An absolute wizard with the computer, no matter the OS. And you've got a real knack for multitasking multiple things at once and at the same time teaching. So today should be a great stream. Looking forward to it.
Lovely. Thank you. Should have wrote that down for my bio for the Max conference. Spoiler alert.
Well, luckily this is recorded, so
that's good. Yeah. Yes, indeed. So also, of course, I am joined by the one and only Joe Allam, who is a videographer, photographer. You can see him on YouTube and, of course, on our Adobe live streams. You're a wizard with a camera, a fantastic Lightroom editor, and have even more undiscovered yet on Adobe Live talents such as graphic design. I've seen your work in InDesign. It's fantastic. And I hope we can see more of you. But for now and for today, we are going to focus on motion graphics templates, or MOGRTs. So why don't we just dive right into it? What do you say?
Let's go. Yeah.
All right.
Dive headfirst into Mogurt.
But not too hard. We're going to use our heads in just a moment. Right. So we are going to start, as always, in After Effects. Because even though if you look below the stream, there's a Premiere icon, if you actually hover over that, you will see we also have After Effects as our featured app today. Because that's where all the fun starts, in After Effects. So, well, actually, first of all, what is a motion graphics templates? Why do you need it? Why is it so cool? And what can you do with one? So it turns out sometimes if you're working on a video and you need some graphics, you don't always want to start from scratch. So what you can do is you can turn your way to your favorite stock site, like Adobe Stock, for example, and you can go over to the templates in there, and would you look at that, we do have some motion graphics templates. And what they allow you to do is, I don't want to drop anything, I'm just going to click on that, thank you. What they allow you to do is take pre-existing graphics that somebody else, or maybe later on we ourselves, made, and you can customize them, you can change texts, you can change colors, you can change the look, and reuse them in your work to create a really cool looking design very quickly. Or to also save yourself some work if maybe you create those templates on your own. So let's just have a look at any one of those. How about, oh yes, retro neon, sure. Because it's retro, it's neon. Oop, there we go. I like it. So you can see this is a little preview and it's customizable and you can download it. Some are free, some are paid, and you can use them in your favorite projects, mostly in Premiere and After Effects, and hopefully elevate your fantastic video using this, in this case, very retro neon styles. So you can download all of them. Like I said, some are free, some are paid. But for today, I thought we could focus on how you can create those assets yourselves. And maybe if you have, like, if you're working for a TV station and they have a certain brand for, I don't know, titles or lower thirds, or maybe you have a YouTube channel and you want a consistent look for those wonderful titles and you don't want to create them all by hand all the time, maybe this is how we can do it. One more thing before we get started. If you have Premiere as a single app, you do need After Effects installed. That doesn't mean you have to you have to buy After Effects. You just have to have it installed. The test version, the trial version, is enough. But for some assets, you have to have After Effects installed. And of course, Premiere will give you a warning if that's the case. So then just download After Effects. Like I said, you don't have to buy it, but you have to have it installed. Right. Okay. Yes.
That's because the animation engine, right, is
exactly. Yes.
Onto the machine by After Effects. Yeah.
Some graphics, like most likely the 3D related ones, they will use After Effects, and it has to be running in the background. It won't be opened, but it will be running in the background. And yeah. All right. So
I love Mogurts so much. They
definitely
they changed my video editing life when I started using them, because it was right at the point when I was getting to know After Effects when they came out, so it was perfect timing. Yeah, couldn't have come at that at a better time, really.
And of course, now I'm scrolling through all of these assets and getting inspiration. But yeah, so like I said, we're going to create some of our own. We're going to keep it fairly simple, just because I would rather focus on the motion graphics templates instead of doing like the most fanciest animation ever. But we're still going to do some fun animation. So let's get started. Let's jump into After Effects, create a new project, and there we are. I have already customized my After Effects workspace just a tiny bit, mostly by adding the Essential Graphics window, which by default, if you open it for the first time, is rather bleak looking because there's nothing happening. Well, we're going to change that in just a moment. Other than that, my After Effects workspace is essentially vanilla. I'm just going to close the tracker. We don't need that today. So we have a bit more space up there. So now I'm going to create a new composition, which as always is done by clicking on this icon and giving it a name. I'm going to call that Title Animation. All right, 1920 by 1080, yep, that's fine. Square pixels, absolutely. 30 FPS, sure. Why not? Resolution full, yes, please. Duration, well, we can change that to 10 seconds. I don't think we need 15. Back on color, yep, that's absolutely fine. Click OK, and there we are. Right, then I'm just going to fit that to make sure we can see everything, and we are ready to create our animation. And just looking at the chat, hi Mode of Void. Nice to see you again. All right. So I have prepared some ideas, or actually just two ideas for today. One is I would like to create a title which would be like a cool title, right? Just going to make sure that's centered and make sure that's aligned. If I can find my align panel, which surely is, there we go, that is. So make sure that's in the center. There we go. And I would like to draw just a very easy rectangle around it. By the way, just as a reminder, the rectangle tool or the shape tool has two modes of operation. One of them is, if you can look next to the cursor, you can see the star. And the other one is, if I select something, you can see like the rectangle with a circle inside it. These are crucially different. This one is for masking, and the one with the star, if I deselect the layer, that's when we actually draw a shape. And what we want is we want to draw a shape. We don't want to draw a mask, because we don't want to mask the text. I want to create a rectangle that's sitting behind it. Just going to align that one more time and put that behind our text. All right, okay. So far, so easy. I would, of course, like to customize that a bit because right now, I mean, this doesn't really warrant the use of motion graphics templates. It's really just a box with a text. So let's make that a bit more fun, a bit more textury. And for that, I have looked on my favorite texture-related website, which, of course, is the one and only texturelabs.org. Brady from Texture Labs, by the way, has been a guest on Adobe Live before, quite some time ago. And I found some fantastic ink swirl textures which I would like to use, and also some grunge, this,
Nice.
paint, which, by the way, was free. Of course, I would also like to mention that you can get amazing and free textures on Adobe Stock if you search for, let's say, ink swirls. But I do happen to like this one in particular, so I went with Texture Labs. And I'm just going to take that one and drag it in there and
Just trying to work out what that is originally. Is it just like a bucket of ink and it's just a evenly lit photo on top?
I think it is
Ink over a flatbed scanner.
someone took paint, put that onto a
Right.
surface of water, and then laid some paper on it and transferred it that way. At least that's what I think it is.
Okay.
Because
Yeah.
it says paper.
Mm.
Anyway.
Yeah, I guess the top left as well. There's a
And
interesting.
you have this sort of texture paper look in there.
Yeah, very cool.
Right? Okay. And I would like to limit that, of course, to this box that we've drawn. So I'm just going to use matte like this. There we are. And maybe also, maybe also like a nice background. So we could try, I don't know, this one. We can just drag it straight into there. Scale that down. There we are. Now I'm really just having some fun seeing what works, what doesn't.
Yeah.
This isn't really part of the whole motion graphics templates workflow, but I still think you can have some fun with it. And just gonna put that here and a bit of that one. And then some tint maybe. Yes. I promise it will get interesting, but we do need to do some setup.
Seeing this coming together, it's starting off busy, of course, but I think it's all.
It's going to get more busy. Trust me.
It's going to layer up like an old school mixed media scan.
Yes, I do like playing with textures because that's something I often miss when working digitally. Just having some real life textures in there and enjoying that. All right. Okay. So what I was thinking is that we could bring in some motion, because if I were to play this back right now, nothing is happening. Well, that's not very interesting. Wait for the glow. I can tell you right now, Sean, no glow. Because glow is a no-go.
No glow up on a Monday morning.
Maybe a bit. Who knows? Okay, so I would like to start by bringing in some motion into this ocean of textures. So let's go into the layers. I'm just going to zoom in a bit so we can all see what's going on. There we are. And I will add a bit of wiggle paths. Yes. So already we do have some motion in there. I'm just going to zoom in so we can see that closer. All right. And then I'm going to play with the size just a bit like this. And the detail, yeah, there we are. And I'm going to increase the wiggles per second to something ludicrously big. Wait for it, it gets better, hopefully. I'm just going to decrease the correlation so they are fully random. Okay, very good. And I'm going to also add some wiggle transform.
I think wiggles per second is my favorite measurement of speed.
Yes. Okay. Gonna play with the position about, I don't know, 4 pixels in each direction, maybe. The scale about just a couple of percent. Yes. And rotation about 1 or 2 degrees. Nothing more. 1.5 maybe. All right. Okay. Now it's wiggling and dancing very happily around. But I would like to limit how many times per second this will update. But not before also moving the texture. Because right now the texture is just sitting there and doing nothing, looking pretty, but it's just staying there. And I would like to have it move all around. Why, you will see just in a second, hopefully. So to do that, it's luckily very easy. We're just going to find our texture layer. There we go. Go into P for position, hold down the Option key, click on the stopwatch and type in wiggle. There we are again. And I would say about 5 times per second maybe, or maybe 10 times, why not? And about 1,000 pixels. So now we get this look. All right, very chaotic, right?
Very MTV.
Yes. So now we're going to do the trick, which I hope will look less busy, by adding a posterize time effect to that layer.
So we started off 30 frames a second, right?
Yes. I'm just going to bring that down to about, I don't know, 6 maybe. Oh, nope, wrong layer. This one. Because we want to, first of all, calm down the wiggle of the path. So we have to start with this one. 6. And for that, we do have to go a different way, because I have added an expression. And this effect wouldn't affect this expression. So I have to go in here and do the posterize time in the expression, which luckily is just as easy as typing in posterize time and 6. So I have to do it a slightly different way. I can't just drag an effect on that layer.
Cool.
But apart from that, it's essentially the same. And now we have this very interesting, it almost reminds me like someone cut out a bunch of tape and did a stop motion animation. And that is sort of like the look I'm going after. And the reason why I'm doing this is this is something that, as you can see, is super easy to create in After Effects, but imagine having to do that all the time in Premiere. Whenever you want to create a title, that's not very fun. Right. I think we have some contrast issues with the text. So, of course, what can we do to mitigate those contrast issues? Why, of course, add a layer style using a...
I think you said glow.
No glow. No, quite the opposite. We're going to use a drop shadow. Yes. But we're going to customize that drop shadow because the default one is very 90s. So
Well, the drop shadow is just a glow in the dark, really, isn't it?
A glow in the dark. That's my new album title. Drop shadow, a glow in the dark. Okay, fair enough. I'm going to put that to normal. And I would like to work with the spread to make it really sharp and graphic looking, and bring down the size to about here. So we still have the sharpness, but the corners are just ever so slightly rounded. And I will also introduce a hint of noise, which, oh, there it is. Just to bring in some texture, right about there. And there we are. All right. So far, so good. We could even
Very cool.
animate the background texture just a bit so it's more going on. We could copy the wiggle transition, but I'm just not going to do that because I would rather spend some time actually doing the motion graphics template. Okay, so now we have our very cool title. Oh no, hang on. It's just a cool title. It's not a very cool title. So let's change that. Oh, no, hang on. Wrong layer. Text tool. A very cool title. Oh no. Well, that's not good, right? Something is definitely wrong here. Well, unfortunately, our box in the background doesn't really want to play along and just stays right there. So how can we possibly fix that? And this is really a common issue you will have with motion graphics templates, because very often you want to replace the text that is part of the motion graphics template. So you have to make it responsive. And we're just going to do exactly that right now, which granted will be a very easy way to make responsive, but it will still be fun. And hopefully something you haven't tried before. So how can we possibly make this one responsive, this layer here? Well, we could use, say it with me, expressions. Yes, right. Okay. Wrong layer, bingo. Thanks for that. Okay, so let's use expressions for that.
Whilst you're playing bingo, have you saved?
Oh, no, but I won't. And you will notice why in a moment. Right. Okay. I mean, I can save right now, but I don't want to. Okay. So I want to transform the rectangle. And to do that, I will go back into the shape layer, untwirl that, and look for just zoom in, look for the rectangle path, and the size. There we go. Because in here, if, let's say I were to unlink that, we can actually change the size. But of course, we don't want to do that manually. We want to use an expression to change that. So hold down the Option key, click on Size, and now we're ready. So don't worry. This is normal, that it gets black and you get a red bar, because this just means if you're editing for the first time, you will get a disabled preview. Just exit out, try again, and then it's working for whatever reason. It's just the way it is.
Interesting.
So nothing wrong. You did everything correct. Just sometimes first time editing expressions. That's how it works. All right. And the second thing is to make After Effects more happy, because otherwise it will throw an error. I will just quickly type in this, which is essentially just a placeholder output, so After Effects won't annoy us with any error or warning messages all the time. So we will replace that in a moment. This is just a placeholder to avoid any errors. All right, while we're editing. Because
should we explain what the placeholder's doing?
Oh, yes, definitely. So what After Effects
looks like a face with ears at the moment.
What After Effects is expecting is always a return value. So if an expression doesn't deliver anything, After Effects is like, so what should I use for this value? You told me I'm supposed to use this expression, but I'm not getting any values back. So we have to give After Effects something to keep it occupied, so to say. And to do that is very easy. I'm just sending back, this is called an array. So it's just two values, because the position expects two values, an X and a Y. So I'm just sending back two values. And I could really send anything. I could just also say 42 and 1337. Doesn't matter, just anything at all, because otherwise After Effects will get grumpy and send warning messages. And that always is unfortunate, because if you get a warning message, and it's for this one, it may mask some other warning messages, which we do want to pay attention to. So I just put in any random numbers, often just 00. But yeah, doesn't matter. No, that's what a 42 by 1337 rectangle would look like. Anyway, let's do some expression math, or maths. Oops, I just deleted that. Didn't want to do that. Okay. So, first of all, to calculate how big the rectangle should be, we should measure how large the text is. And luckily, that's very easy in After Effects. I would just say text size. This is just a name. I could call it also Allam, this variable. I would just need something to save it on. And I will now use my property pick whip to grab the text. And this is just from an easy way for me to get this automatically. I could also type in this comp.layer. I could also use layer indices by just typing in 1, because I think this should be layer 1. Yep, there we are, layer 1. So like this would also work, but I'm going to keep it like that. And I will type in dot because I would like to know the source rect at time property of that text. And what that means is we can now say text size dot width. We can ask how wide is the text? Or we can also say text size dot height. How high or how tall is the text? And we can do some more fun things with that. We can ask like, where is it in the composition, the top and the left value and so on. But for now, we're just going to use the width and the height. Okay. And now it's really easy, as much as we can just say height, or maybe not height because that's a keyword. Let's just call it text H for, or W rather, for width, and text H for height. Right. Because now we can use those variables and put them hopefully the right way around, right in there. And if we have done everything correctly, and yes, we did, look at that. The rectangle is exactly the size of the text. The reason why it's not lining up properly is, of course, we added some transform, so it's like rotated and wiggling around, but it has the right size. However, well, that's not really working for us, don't you think? It's a bit tight. I would rather have some marginal padding around the text. So
there's a great question actually in here from Oliver,
go on.
which is actually one of my favorite things with After Effects, asking, does the expression update if you were to rename the layer? Yes, it does. That is, one of my favorite things is that usually in coding languages, as soon as you start changing like file names and other stuff, all hell breaks loose and it just all falls apart. Whereas this, it keeps itself up to date.
yes.
Yeah, which is good.
Although, fair enough, that question was one of the reasons why I spent 2 hours trying to fix something which wasn't an issue after all. Because it turns out, pro tip, and spoiler alert, if you are using multiple languages between Premiere and After Effects, so let's say your After Effects version is installed in English and your Premiere is running in, I don't know, German maybe, because you haven't changed it yet, everything breaks.
Yeah.
And this took me about 2 hours a couple of days ago to figure out why it wasn't working. It's like, because Premiere in its infinite wisdom just doesn't throw any errors. It's just like, no, that just doesn't work. Good luck.
Yeah, it's like, are you referring to when it says like a transform is the thing that's being used, and then transform itself gets translated into German, and so then whatever transform is in German.
Yeah, just didn't work. Just refused to do anything with expressions. So, long story short, make sure that your After Effects and Premiere have the same language settings, which hopefully shouldn't be an issue for most of you. Right. Okay. Going back, I would like to now add the padding around the text so we have some wiggle room, literally. The way I'm going to do that is very easy because I can just add a variable called, offset maybe. Or maybe not offset because that seems to be a claimed name already. Let's call it margin. Yes, that one's available. Fantastic. And we're going to say that's just, 50 pixels. Or just 50 maybe. We don't even add to pixels. Mm-hmm. And now we can just say plus margin. And this is also the reason why I did introduce 2 new variables, because I could have easily just typed in this width right here. But I feel like this is more obvious what is happening. And I could even go ahead and say comment add offset to measurements. Right, if I wanted to, but I'm not going to. All right.
It's a great follow-up, actually. So Joel's just reminded me with the expressions and the issue with translation. It only, I think, affect the effects of things in your layer stack. And if you use the indices rather than the layer name, quick way to do that, by the way, is if you hold Option when using your pick whip. That will create the index.
Yeah, but not always. This still refused to work. I've tried.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay. Interesting.
It's like, ooh, I know what's happening. No, that turns out I didn't. But yeah, the fix was to just switch Premiere to English, and then it worked right away.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Then let's clean that up. There we are. Okay. And if we zoom out, there we go. Ooh, looks like 50 wasn't quite the perfect. How about 60? Or maybe how about 70? You know what? Instead of having to type in all the numbers all the time, because that sucks and it's not very user-friendly, why don't we use a slider? Yes. All right. So go to the effects and presets, search for slider control. There we are. Bring that in. Yep. Set it right there and go to our property pick whip and just grab it like this. And there we are. That's much better. Now we have a slider where we can indeed change it to however we want. And it turns out about 80 maybe. Yeah, 80. That looks about right. And the reason why it's called a slider, by the way, is if you untwirl this, you do indeed have a slider. Just so you know. All right, cool. We're getting there. Now I would just like to add some animation to the text itself to show that indeed this is still live text. And for that, I think we can just, first of all, hide that, go to our effects and presets, go into the animation presets, and in here, if we just go ahead and scroll down to text, animate in, and don't worry, this will be in German for whatever reason. It decided to not translate them. So we just have to search for one I like, which was this one, decode character-wise. That's what it says. Just gonna drag that on. And hopefully now that should play that back. There it is. Okay. First of all, that's way too slow in my opinion, and also I don't really like that it's character-wise. It takes ages. So let's customize that just a bit. First of all, gonna move those keyframes to the front so we actually get the start right here. Yes, there we are. Let's see. Nope, still too slow. How about half a second maybe? Well, that's better. We could ease it. Oh, that's nice. And I would also like to change it so that it doesn't do it character-wise, but instead like ramps it up. Okay, so how could we do that? First of all, let's go to the animator, which is sitting down here. There we go. And get into advanced and change the shape to ramp up. And now that should already, yes, affect more than one character. And for this, we actually need to not work with the start. We need to work with the offset. So I'm going to set the start to 0, the end to 100. And now if I change the offset, you can see we can start from here and there it is. Right, so just going to keyframe that real quick. We said about half a second, so there we are. And that's it. Right. Nice. Yes, I think I'm fairly happy with that. We could, if we wanted to, maybe also add like a animation where the strip of paper or tape or whatever is slowly moving up or moving in. We could do that. So maybe, since it's really easy.
I'm wondering if we can do something with the background. Have that.
Oh, maybe also the background. Yes, sure. Why don't we? We could wiggle that one subtly by just going back to the position. Say wiggle, in this case about like maybe 2 times, and I would say about 20 pixels. We don't want to make it too. Or maybe instead of wiggling it, how about we move it because I think this one should be the wave. No, hang on, this one is the waves. So we could perhaps just move them a bit in this direction. Because, I mean, they are waves in the first place. So just going to drag that here. And P for position. Start right about here. No, hang on. I have to move the current time indicator first. Right there. Let's see if that looks. Oh, it's a bit fast. We can slow that down, I think. All right.
Yeah.
And of course, to make sure this continues, this motion, I will use an expression called loop out and add continue. Just going to zoom in so we can see that like this. And this means this will just continue the motion after this keyframe. So now hopefully the background should keep moving. Yes.
Nice.
Even after the keyframe ended. Fantastic.
You know what, that's a new one for me. Didn't know about that one.
Yes, there are actually multiple different loop out options. There is continue, which we just did, cycle, which just starts at the beginning. There's offset, and there's ping pong, which is also really fun because that will go back and forth like a loop.
Okay.
And there's also another cool thing, which I guess I can talk about. Have you ever had the issue that you wanted to loop something before and after a keyframe? Because there's loop out, there's loop in, but there's no loop.
Okay.
Actually, you can just say loop in plus loop out.
Ah.
And that should, if we did everything correctly. Now we're in the actual keyframes. And of course, I need to change the loop in method. I want to continue that probably. But that's how you can loop something in and out.
I see.
But simply just adding those. But we don't want to do that right now. So let's go back to this one. Yes, loop in, continue, plus loop out, continue. That's right. Thanks, Joel. Very nice. Okay.
So continue must be just the default variable, I guess.
What is the default value? It might, no, I think it should be cycle. I think cycle is the default. Maybe someone can look that up. Because what happens if I don't bring in this continue is that it should start again and we should see a jump. Let's see if we do. Yeah, we do see a jump. So it goes back to the first keyframe and we don't want that. So continue.
Given the pattern, that's actually very subtle.
Yes. Oh, yes, Joel, very good. Minus value, which just means that it reduces the current one. That's very good. Yes, forgot about that one. Thank you, Joel. See, that's why we have the experts in the chat. Oh.
Yeah.
All right.
Always good to have an outside view.
Okay, so I think since we also want to move over to Premiere in a moment and we only have 20 minutes, I think we should just leave it at this for the moment and make our way over to Adobe Premiere. Right, so the way we do that is by preparing our After Effects document to transition over to Premiere Pro by going through the Essential Graphics panel. We haven't had a look at that one yet, so let's see what we can do. First of all, we need to select a composition for us to get ready, because you maybe have more than one composition in your After Effects project. So for us, we only have the one, so it's just title animation. Immediately, we can see a thumbnail, which for some reason they call poster. So set poster time really just means which preview image would you like to have there. If I set it to this one, you can now see it says good question. It should really say set thumbnail image, but it says set poster time. Oh well. You can also give it a name, which is a very good idea, and we'll call it good question title. We can change the comp. We already did that, and this one is very cool. You can solo support properties, which means After Effects will go ahead and reveal all the options down here, which you can change by using, which you can change via motion graphics templates, which you can see is a lot. So I don't think we will do it that way. We'll just pick the ones we want, which is, first of all,
Sometimes
of course,
it'd be easier if it told us which ones you can't do.
right, yeah. And hi, Emma, by the way. Probably also keen to learn all about motion graphics templates. Right. So, first things first, we would like to change the text, which is the reason why we did this in the first place. So we can have this animation with different text values. So let's just take this, click and drag, and there we are. It's that easy. I can now change the title of that entry, of that property. I would say probably title text. And I can edit that because we can say whether we want to have, or whether the user later on should have some permissions over editing the font, maybe the font size, or other things. So in this case, I will let them enable the font selection, but not the size, because I quite like that size right here. So enable custom font selection, yes please, the rest, rather not. Click OK, and now, sorry for the zooming, now the user can indeed change the font and the style, but nothing else. Furthermore, I would like to, or might like to add maybe the color of the drop shadow, maybe, just so we can see all the different options we have. And the color of the drop shadow should be right there. Drop shadow color, yeah, we don't have to change that title. That's great. What else? Ooh, yes, the offset slider maybe, so they can change the offset of the tape in the background. So that one should be, I think, right here. Or where was it? It should be here. Yes. No. Where did we add the slider? Just think about it.
It's on the text, isn't it?
The text. Oh yeah.
Oh no, sorry. The slider's on the box, on the
No,
image.
it's right there. It is on the text for whatever reason. I'm not sure why they put it on the text. That doesn't make any sense. I mean, it doesn't matter where the slider is. I just need to know where it is. I could have also put it on the separate layer if I want to, but Right. Apparently it's on the text. All right. Okay. I need the slider. There it is. And just drag that in here, and we'll call that margin. If I can type margin. All right. And I'm just going to edit the
image. We could do the image of the texture. Replace that as a media replacement.
Wait for it. See, that's the logic police, the time police. They are
They're at my door already.
All right. Just going to increase the slider, so if somebody wants to, they could increase it to 200 for whatever reason. Okay. I think that should be all we need. So we can change the text, we can change the font, we can change the color of the drop shadow, and we can change the offset to 200 if we wanted to. Cool. So what do we do now? Well, first of all, we'll have a look at this drop-down menu, which we have ignored for the moment, because you can add some groups and you can add some comments. Groups are really handy if you have like really, really big motion graphics templates set up. You can say like, I don't know, what would, look, I don't know. And you can drag some objects, some properties in there. You can rearrange them if you wanted to. And now you have a group called look. Great. So yeah, this is really handy. And of course, you can also add comments. So if you want to say like, make sure to use odd numbers for the margin, then you can add a comment if you wanted to, right? Sometimes a motion graphics template maybe is quite elaborate and you need some explaining to do, or maybe your clients are not that used to working with Premiere Pro or After Effects, then some comments can often help ease the transition.
Sometimes I find just comments for your future self
or your own
is so
sanity, yes.
important. Yeah, when you come back and you're like, how does this work again? It could even be that you're thinking, why is the margin slider on the text?
Yes. Actually, a very good point. Yeah, indeed. All right. So let's export. Yes. And this is why I wanted to wait before saving, because After Effects now says, hang on, you need to save this first. Oh, thanks, After Effects. Was about to do that. All right. So let's save it. And we'll call that good question.ap. Yes. And save it in the, yeah, of course. Why not? Save it in the textures folder. Yeah, great. So After Effects is now going ahead and creating a motion graphics templates, but it needs some information from us before it can create the final file. First of all, it would like to know, where would you like to save it? We can save it to our local templates folder, which will mean we can use it in Premiere straight away. Or we can, of course, save it to a local file maybe, or maybe one of your libraries which you have sitting around. So maybe if you're sharing a library with a friend or coworker, then they can use that motion graphics template. For now, I will just stick with the local templates folder because I will be the only one who will ever use this title. So this is fine. I can also say, warn me if this motion graphics templates uses fonts that are not available from Adobe Fonts, because it turns out if you have like a font and you send it over to someone and that person doesn't have the font, they are out of luck, unless that font is sitting on Adobe Fonts. In that case, it will automatically download the font without the user ever having to do anything like installing a font, which is boring. Yes, if you ever are using fonts which are outside the Adobe Fonts catalog, you can choose to get a warning. In this case, since I will be the only one using this font, template, I'm fine with that. And same thing is, you can warn the user if After Effects needs to be installed. In this case, it doesn't matter again, since I have it installed, I'm the only one using it. But in case you don't want this, you can uncheck. Right, and we can add some keywords. Title, texture, grunge. Yeah, this is really great if you want to just have some keywords to search around. You can also get rid of them again if you don't want them. And there we are. Click OK, and then we are done. Yes, I do get a warning now, like, ooh, hang on, your font, which I've used here, is not part of Adobe Fonts. Yes, I know. Thank you very much. Click OK. And there we are. Right, now let's make our way over to Premiere Pro, which I haven't opened yet, I think. No, I didn't. Let's see how fast Premiere Pro will open. There we are.
That.
And new project. Oh, look who's there. Yeah, create, call that one. Untitled, maybe not. How about Mogurts title crash course? Yeah. All right. Just gonna drag that over here. Bring it back to the source. There we are. New sequence. Settings don't really matter since we will change them anyway. Yes. And now in Premiere Pro, we also have our essential graphics panel, but this one already is populated. And I just realized that our cameras are right in front of that panel. That's not good. So let's just move ourselves over to here. There we are. Okay.
Oh,
right.
Now I'm looking off the screen. I've got to look over here.
It's all right, it's okay. Cool. So now we already have some pre-installed templates, and those do ship with your installation of Premiere Pro. You also have the chance to search through them. You can favorite some of them. You can also go through Adobe Stock and grab them from here. Search for your favorite ones, like, I don't know, retro. And there we are. It's very retro. And you can see some of them are paid. This $ indicates that. But of course, we don't want to use existing ones, which we could filter, by the way, if we only want free ones. We do want ours that we have created earlier, and this one will sit somewhere here, probably at the very bottom. Nope, there it is, I think. Good question. Might be sorted alphabetically. I think it is. All right. Now, it's as easy as clicking, dragging. This one is now asking, would you like to change your sequence settings? Because I picked different resolution, which doesn't match the one of the template. So yes, I would like to change them. There we are. And now if I scrub over there, we should see in a moment, this takes just a hot minute or second to load in. There we are, because it is indeed an After Effects composition and it has to open After Effects in the background. But now we do have our good question. And the best part is we can hop on over to the edit portion of Essential Graphics. There we are. Select our title. And there we have all the properties we have specified just a moment ago, like the title text. We can change that to a very good question. And that will update immediately. You can also see the rectangle in the background has updated. And also, if we play that back, the animation should have updated. Yes, there we are. The background is still moving. That's fantastic. We can change the margin. Yes, very nice. Let's make it bigger. We can change the drop shadow color to maybe, I don't know, a nice neon green, if we ever wanted to for that reason. No, I don't want to like that. No, thank you. The reason why I asked that is because I want to sample from the screen, like the eyedropper. And because macOS in the recent version is very particular about permissions, it often asks you like, would you like to allow Premiere to record your screen? And yeah, no, not right now. Don't need to do that. Right, but you can see it's now green. Fantastic. And what else did we have? I think, oh yes, the font, of course. If we don't like that one, maybe we want to change it to this one. Maybe not that one. How about, yeah, why not? Or maybe Futura. Yes, that's always, Futura is a safe font, bold. There we are. And that is how we can create our very own motion graphics template. Now,
looking great.
A last tip, because, sorry, yes?
I don't know if I'm spoiling reading ahead on the script.
Yeah.
So maybe I can set you up for this one. What if I'd like my title to be a little bit shorter?
You do have a way with your questions. It's like we're sharing the one brain cell. I'm looking at this, and I'm thinking to myself, like, maybe this is a bit too long, right? I mean, we can all read, yeah. We can still read it. And we're still reading it. Yeah, it's still there. It's like, great. But what if you want to make it shorter or longer?
I'd say that's a very good question.
Mm-hmm. Well, it turns out that sometimes if you do want to make it shorter or longer, which of course you can just bring it here, right? You can just crop it. But what if we want to make sure that this intro animation, this one, always plays, no matter how long or short we make it. So we should somehow protect the intro or maybe outro animation. So how can we do that? It's very easy. Just going back to After Effects for a moment, and I will find my intro animation and outro, which starts here and ends about there, give or take. Hit N for end. So now I have drawn a region, start to end. And it's as easy as right-clicking or command-clicking, or control-clicking, I suppose, and say, create protected region from work area. Boop. There we are. We can do the same with the outro if we had one. We don't have an outro, so it doesn't really matter. But now, if we export that one again, which I won't do because it takes time, but if we were to export that one again, then we can protect that intro and make sure this animation always plays back, no matter how long or short it is. So imagine you have like an intro animation, and something comes up, stays, and comes down. If you were to shorten that, you could be risking chopping off the end, which you don't want, or chopping off the beginning maybe. So this way, only the middle part, which is unprotected, would be shorter or longer. And that's very, very useful.
And can we protect areas in the middle as well?
I think yes, but I have never tried that, honestly. I've only did the outro and intro.
And even this way, the way I've always done it is from the menu bar with just responsive time. I think that might have been how it originally started, but this is far quicker.
I do like that also. So how did you do that?
Composition, I believe.
Yes.
And then responsive design - time.
Oh yeah.
And then create intro, create outro.
Yeah.
Oh,
that
and then
works.
there was a third option now. Create protected. So maybe you can do a middle.
No. Yeah.
So that actually could be very useful. Just thinking ahead on some title designs that I might want to work on, where I want to do something complex in the middle, but I've always avoided doing anything that, if stretched, would end up looking horrendous. But
okay.
If I protect that middle bit. Yeah.
So let's just demo it since we have some extra time. And I don't think we want to get into the second project, which I wanted to work on. But so I have chopped off the beginning by just clicking and dragging over here. And now you can see if I play that back. Oh no, our very cool intro animation is gone. Well, that's not good. So let's bring that back. Say export. I would like to save it. Yes, please. I would like to use the local templates folder. Yep, keywords, don't care about that right now. It already exists. Yeah, I know. I would like to replace it. Yes, please. Say, yes, it's using an alternative font. I know. Thank you. And now going back, I'm actually not sure if it updates automatically or if I do have to bring it in again. We'll find out right now.
That's the first time I've seen it say to replace. I think I always drop mine into Creative Cloud libraries. And when you do that, it adds it rather
we need
than
to bring it in
replaces
again.
But yeah, because it copies it, doesn't it? From it copies it to the project folder, I believe.
So in theory, if we've done everything correctly, oh god, I hope this works. Yes, look at that. I've just shortened the intro. Hopefully you've seen that, like make it shorter. But the intro animation, come on, still plays. And now it's much shorter.
Do you know a hot tip?
Yeah.
If you take your existing title,
Yeah.
oh, you already deleted the old one.
Sorry.
And you hold Option
Yeah.
and drag it over, it will have kept your font and any text changes.
Ooh.
So long as your re-exported Mogurt has exactly the same parameters.
I did not know that. Let's try that out right now. Hold on the Option key.
If, for example, you've created a very complex Mogurt with all sorts of things happening, and then you notice that the animation's wrong, go and re-export, and then just hold Option, drag it over.
Let's see if we can chop off the intro. Play that back. Look at that. A green drop shadow still there. Oh, that's fantastic. I didn't know that. Fantastic.
Yeah.
Woo. All right. So now, actually, we don't need to re-export. And the message I clicked away while we were talking was, if you would like to replace all instances, so if you have more than one instance of this very motion graphics template, you can just do it a one-time replace and whoop, do it through all the project. So if you edit a Mogurt, you have to re-export. Yes. If you edit something here and you would like those edits to be propagating throughout the documents and the libraries, if you have changed it by library, you of course have to re-export, since it's really just a file. Like, you can also open that file, by the way. Inside it's just an After Effects preset file sitting there. You can just open that with After Effects. But yes, that's how it works. Now we have this intro and outro. Fantastic. And since you've said it earlier, I think we could at least mention that you can also replace images, something which I didn't have the time yet to get into that. So the way you do that is you pre-compose your image, whichever you want. Move all that. Yeah?
Do you need to? I think if you twirl it down, there's just the media, isn't there?
Is it? I always thought you had to pre-compose. Oh no, maybe you don't have to.
Yeah, just yeah,
All right. Okay.
super quick.
I always pre-composed it. Maybe that helps if you have like a mask or anything going on. That can sometimes work.
Yeah, I mean, usually I find it is safer to pre-compose stuff anyway because
I do like
you're not
pre-composing
careful.
stuff.
yeah,
It's all right.
so separation.
Yeah, this is great. Let's say you don't like this texture here and you want to go over to, where's my Finder folder? There it is. Maybe you want something more red. Then you could maybe replace it with this one. Or maybe you don't like swirly ink textures at all. So you could replace it with anything else. And of course, this will show up. If you can just export that real quick. Yes, save. Actually, don't warn me. Thank you. Yes, I would like to replace it. And I'm making our way over to After Effects, to Premiere Pro once again. Hold down the Option key. Yes, I would like to replace it. And you can, hang on, where is it? Have I saved the wrong file? Where is my, good question, title?
Just drag it into the...
Should be there. Maybe I've made a mistake. I'm pretty sure I've did something wrong. Definitely. Maybe I haven't saved it properly. I don't know. Let's try it again. Local templates folder. Just put it in. Why not? Yes, I would like to replace it. Yeah, that's okay. It should be there.
Just drag it into the sequence rather than replace.
Yeah, maybe I
You've got
just...
that image in there now.
because maybe I need to do it like this. Maybe that was the issue. And select. There it is. All right. So maybe option dragging doesn't work if you add anything like this.
Any new parameters, yeah.
But anyway, there it is. Now you can replace your image like this, and which is very cool, you can also change how it's fit. It's right behind us. You can also change how it's scaled if you shouldn't scale at all, which can be useful, or if you want to scale it to fit, or if you want to stretch it. Hint, not really good if you have poor portraits in there. You don't want to stretch a person. That's not... That's usually not what they want. But yes, this is how you do it. And long story short, you can replace or you can change or add anything to this panel, which is sitting here. If you click on Solo Supported Properties, then you can get all of them here and move them over however much you like. And hopefully create your very own, very custom motion graphics template in Premiere Pro and impress all your friends by how quick you can change text.
Absolutely. And not only is this a quick and efficient process, you've made it very quick. This has been a solid hour going through, and not only have you made it as an actual thing, but it also looked cool. So top marks all around.
We'll talk about that later. But yeah, that's how you do it. So that's all from me for today,
Amazing.
I think. Unless there are any questions, of course, in that case. I'm more than happy to.
I think there's just a lot of support. Joel's just put in a message saying images, videos, comps, media replacement is huge. Definitely is. It's so useful. I believe that's been around for about a year and a bit now or so. Yeah, super useful, very helpful. Tim, thank you for sharing all of that today and running through as smoothly and efficiently as possible. Coming up on the stream this week, so tomorrow we have some illustration with... No, we don't. That's Germany. I'm looking at the wrong one. We have photography with Tiggs and Tony, and then we have some illustration with Raquel and Tony on Wednesday. So tomorrow and Wednesday, 12 o'clock, we will see you there over on Behance. And that's everything from me, everything from you, I'm assuming, Tim.
Yes,
final words.
Thank you very much for joining me, Joe, and everyone in the chat. As always, if you just joined, then this will be available as a replay right after the stream has ended. But for now, thank you very much for watching, and see you very soon, hopefully.
See you later.
Bye, everybody.